And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Welcome to Make HOAG Money. Tuesday, May the 23rd. Good to see everybody. This is me, Senior Performance Coach here at Top Step. CFTC disclaimer, what we're doing here is for educational purposes only. We're not suggesting the purchase or sale of any particular product or security at this time. Futures does contain substantial risk. An investor could potentially lose all or more than their initial investment. We should only be using risk capital, which to me is money that I can afford to lose to trade with. Again, not suggesting the purchase or sale of anything. You guys are coming up with the trade ideas today. Past performance is never indicative of future results. And the rules for Make HOAG Money, simple. Kindness and respect above everything. There's always differences of opinions in markets. That's what makes them so good. 5 people, well, we're going to have some people enabled to speak today if they want to. Of course, if you're coming up with trade ideas, the context of that trade idea is always going to be helpful. We're going to use the chat rooms in Zoom and YouTube to discuss the trades. I'll poll the both sides if we're thinking about taking a trade so we can vote on it. We're going to focus on the MES for opportunities. We're not going to trade just to trade. We're not taking losing trades, which is meant to be a joke. There's always losses in trading. We just have to learn to cut them and move on. And then, of course, feedback on Make HOAG Money is vital. If you have any feedback, let me know. Here's the platform. Here's where we're at. It looks like we're going to be opening with a gap. Here's the overnight from yesterday and yesterday's profile. Good afternoon or good morning or good night, wherever you are, everyone. It's great to see you. We got Greg who wants to speak. Let's get Greg in here. Ben, if you want to speak, let me know. Anybody else that would like to join and discuss their trades? Wonderful. What's up, Greg? How you doing?
I'm all right.
You're running around. So one of the first things that we think about when the market opens out of balance from the previous day is, do we take the opening range trade?
Yeah, let's take a stab at it. We have minimum risk. If we get stopped out, then we lean on an IB setup. If we're here till 10:30.
All right, let's see here.
I think I like that. But we can take a small risk trade, see if that works. If we get stopped out.
All right, well, let's see if we want to take the opening range trade. We're polling now to take the opening range trade or not. Let me send it here. Poll.
Can I speak while you
OR trade.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, so do you believe that we're bearish coming into the open? Will we look for a short once we make a high?
Do I believe that we're bearish?
Yeah, I believe we're bearish because we broke yesterday's POC, right? And if you go to the TPO charts, we had a cluster of TPO POCs around the 4200 area. So 4208 to about 4200. And we had yesterday's POC in that area too. And it was broke to the downside. Yesterday's POC was 4205.
Volume point of control. Okay, yep.
No. Volume TPOs. If you go to the TPO charts, the TPOs. Just to show that was a huge area that we broke.
Mm-hmm.
To confirm that the bias has changed. And we also had a channel that if you go to the daily time frame, maybe if I could show to you, I could give you like a broader perspective on the daily chart. We was in a daily channel, we broke that to the downside too at about 7:30. So let me see if I could we're getting close to 9:30. Let's see if I could make a screen like that.
Ben is saying it's a good day to beware of the art of misdirection.
Sleight of hand.
James Decker wants to join. Here you go. Let's see what James has to say.
Making company today.
Yeah.
I like that.
Good morning, everybody. Sounds like the tea leaves. So here's the poll. 89% like the idea of taking the opening range trade on YouTube, and 94% like the idea of the opening range trade on YouTube. I'm sorry, the first one was Zoom. Here it is, 89, 94. So we're going to take it. We're going to see what it looks like here. Let me see if I can get the opening range trade to work here on this 1 minute chart. But we'll check it out.
So you want to see that daily channel, or we don't have enough time for it?
Yeah, we're going to watch the opening range trade for now, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's okay. No, that's more than all right. I agree. But it's 3 minutes away. We're going to miss our location. Agreed. Right, we bring up the 1 minute chart. Make sure I'm logged in.
Yeah, let's see if we get the opening range trade is not on it. Son of a...
You know who. You see.
All right, this one, it says it's on it, but we'll see. We got a couple of minutes here. And we'll see if we get our opening range on here. Huh. Past performance is all I have to go by. Daniel. Opening range 1 minute. We're not long or short anything yet. We're just waiting to see what the range for the first minute of trade is. Looks like we're opening with a gap, opening out of balance from yesterday. Jim Decker, if you wanted to talk, I'm going to send it again. I'm promoting you to a panelist. If you want to join panelist, then you'll be able to talk if you want to.
This could be a cheap area down here. Let's get ready, Hoag. It's about to start.
Yeah, we're on it. We are on it. No, it's all right, Jim. What I do is in Zoom, I send, I hit promote to panelist for you. Something should pop up and let you know that you can join.
As a side note, you notice it's quiet, right?
Yeah.
You're guilty me into it. I changed it myself. Management still ain't doing anything.
All right, I think I was able to tell it.
Hey, there you go. How you doing, Jimmy?
Doing well.
Good. We're watching the opening range here. Our first minute of trade. We'll see if we get an opening range opportunity off this. 16 seconds in. Not getting a high, low, 2.5 point opening range, 3 point opening range. "30 seconds in."
It's
10
looking like a
seconds.
short.
Yeah, it is.
So the high is set will be 89.75.
So we are one tick either side of it. The opening range is established. Still haven't left it. You can see the opening range here.
But we're still within the 1 minute bar.
Yeah, we are.
Opening range.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll make the move when it breaks to either side.
Yep. And then our stop's already in.
Which would be at the high of it, right?
Yes.
40.
So we look below the overnight session here.
Yeah, the two's the bottom. 1 minute. Uh-oh.
Wouldn't it be funny if it just stayed here? All right, we're long. So I'm going to move this stop about 5 ticks the other side of the low of the opening range.
Right.
Because there's always a bunch of stops right there.
So that's about 82.
Yeah, I mean 83.75 right now.
83.
Will, don't be scared.
And I
I'm
agree.
just going to say, it makes
agree.
me nervous to go long right now.
No,
I
but
mean, I understand with the opening range trade, it makes sense.
I want you to look at yesterday's price action. The opening range worked to beauty yesterday.
Yeah, it did till
That's
the whole thing at the Pentagon came out.
Yeah.
Everybody's nervous to be long, huh? Ben, pointing out we got a poor high from 2 days ago. We got a recent high that occurred in extended trading hours. We'll go back to the 30-minute here.
Looking like a tweezer button on the way. I'll wait for the bar to close.
Yeah. This is kind of scary to be long down here, isn't it?
But it is cheap down here.
So here's that overnight high.
What would the target be, Mr. Hoagie?
You got a weak high here. And that's that overnight high.
Mr. Hoagie, why would it be a weak high if there's no excess?
That's what makes it a weak high.
Oh, because there's no excess.
No excess. Auctions die in excess. It's an unfinished upside auction.
Yes. My head was hurting a little bit. I'm like, hold up.
So
Thank you. I see we had like 3 to 4 TPOs there. You said it was a weak high. Yes, thank you for that.
yeah, right here.
Yes.
Exactness is weakness.
Exactness is
So Jimmy, where are you?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm down in Florida right now, or down in Georgia right now. And kind of travel a bit, but right now I'm down in Macon.
Really?
Glad to be here. Yes, sir.
Is that home?
No. Actually, Anchorage, Alaska is my home, but it's all right.
Well, you're a long way from home.
I am. You know, I'm trying to find some place to settle down, and I really appreciate this future stuff, and I like it a lot. I'd like to be more profitable. But that's why I'm here. I'm here to learn.
Awesome. So where you staying in Georgia? You got friends down there?
Yeah, I got a buddy, and he's got a place, and moved in maybe a month ago or so, and just hanging out and focusing full time on this trading stuff. So it's good to be here. And I finally finished the market profile book, which I should have done years ago.
Ah, okay.
Now I understand the verbiage that you say.
Good.
Yes.
Good. And now just read it again.
Yes. And again.
Did you grow up in Anchorage, Alaska?
I did. Well, I grew up part down in California, and then moved up to Alaska and was there for 10 years, and now I'm down in Georgia because I don't like to be cold. I feel like I did my time.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
A little closer to the equator now.
Just a little bit. I do not have, what do they call, warm blood or whatever. You know? Yeah. Cold blooded for sure.
I'm always fascinated by Alaska. When I was 24, 25, I set out on a motorcycle from Chicago to get to Denali National Park in Alaska, and I had a partner that was with me, and he announced that we were in Glacier Park in Montana, that he was broke. So we decided we were going to go to Seattle and put the bikes on a ferry and go up to what is it, Fairbanks or Anchorage, and then shoot over to Denali. But with him out of money, it didn't make sense. So we just went down the coast from basically like Washington, Oregon, all the way down the coast to San Francisco, and then to Yosemite, or no, Yosemite, right? And then down to Tucson and down to Mexico, and then took 3 months.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What were you riding?
It was a Honda Shadow 1100.
Oh, that's beautiful. I have a Honda Shadow. It's a 700. But
Yeah. It was an 87. Bought it brand new. Had no windshield, nothing. Rode 18,000 miles that summer.
Oh, that's beautiful, brother. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was my main mode of transportation for years. And then, you have kids, and then pretty soon the kids are asking for rides, and which was fine, but having kids, it made me a little bit nervous being on a motorcycle, So I sold it. And I think about once in a while getting another one, but maybe I'll go with a convertible instead now.
100% for sure. Time to
Or
place, right?
Mr. Ho, or you could go to a track, Mr. Ho, to feel that urge.
Yeah, I was never a racer, just more of a tavern to tavern rider.
Okay.
I see those guys on those, crotch rockets just flying around. It's like crazy to me.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do is hit the ground going 70, 80 miles an hour.
No, we don't want that.
Yeah.
Now, I do feel like on motorcycles, it's like there is such thing as too fast and too much power underneath you. I know for myself, I'm with you. I'm good with the cruiser, the 70, maybe 80.
Yes.
Because after that, I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah. I think the fastest I went was when I was on my way back home on that bike trip. I was going through Nebraska, and, somebody passed me in a car going 85, 90, and I'd tail them for a while. But with no windshield, no fairing, it beats you up, man. I went 600 miles in one day through Nebraska, and I was exhausted.
Respect, bro. With no windshield or nothing.
No. Yeah, it was. At that point, I was ready to be home.
Good question, guys. We got PMI in 5 minutes.
Yes, we do. We are protected. We've got a stop in, so let's see if we can get a little bit of a lead coming into it.
That.
So one thing that I feel like I've noticed from both reading the market profile stuff and also trying to implement it into the actually trading, is the trading off of leverage for time. So, at specific strike prices, and if, say, like I'm noticing right now with the initial balance, it still seems relatively kind of tight.
Yes.
I know we're still kind of early in the initial balance, but with I know it said it's like a light. What am I thinking? It's like a lamp, where the tighter the initial balance, the easier it is to flop over one.
Right.
And with this as an example, like let's say it were to flip to the upside, we'll say to yesterday's market sentiment, roughly 4207-ish. A mistake that I had made for way too long is, I'd try and take just little chunks with too much leverage. And now it's like, okay, well, if you take out just one contract and let it run, and let it tell me whether or not I'm right or not based off of time rather than, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of mind-blowing to me, and I wish that I realized this sooner, but
I agree.
I can
I
see
agree
the
with
difference.
you. I agree with you, my man. What's your name again, my man?
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Yeah,
Yes,
I got
yes.
Jimmy.
I got hit with the same light reading that book. It's amazing. That book is amazing.
Yeah,
like Mr. Hogue said, it's a testament, man. Everybody should get that book, man. Whoever's listening.
Mind Over Markets and Markets in Profile.
Yes. And the book with Jared Stidler. I think that's his name, right?
Jared Tendler.
Jared Tedler.
Yeah, I think Jared's going to be with us at 10 o'clock on Thursday during the market hours. So I think we've got him scheduled where we're still working on some of the technical stuff about it, but we're still working on Top Step TV too. So just takes a little time and figuring it out.
Yeah. But we're definitely bullish coming into this open on the 1 minute. I got the MACD, 9 to 50. Every time it comes to the signal line, it's bouncing off of it. And we just crossed the zero line.
So that's an anchored MACD?
No, it's session. EMA 9, EMA 50.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So just looking at the opening session for the past 42 minutes, it's been positive.
Okay.
Right, so that's a good sign for our long.
Mm-hmm. All right.
We're looking good. I feel good, but we got 2 more minutes. Come all the way there.
The stop is
83.75.
83.75.
Yes, sir. What's the target?
I'm looking at point of control from yesterday.
Okay,
42.08.
42.08 it is, Mr. Ho.
I always go a little short of where I think it might go, but that's pretty aggressive.
Oh,
We'll see what happens here in a minute.
I always say, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hogue, that the market hide the moves behind news.
Hides the moves behind news.
Like they want to make the move that they want to make, but because of the increased volume, they make the move that they're supposed to do around the panic. Because a lot of people are gonna be going flat, and a lot of people are gonna be on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean the market does get thin, right?
Mm-hmm. Great time to position yourself with the big money makers.
It looks like we're getting a little bit thin here now. Yeah, we're down to double digits in the S&Ps.
Oh, in the dome.
Yep.
So let's talk about the PMI, Mr. Hope. Like, what's the significance of these numbers?
Well, this is a combination, so it's manufacturing and service PMI. It's a preliminary number.
Okay.
At 50, it's even.
Okay.
So the services PMI is expected to come in at 52.6, which is expansion in service industries. Manufacturing just came out at 48.5. Yeah, okay, we're out. It took us out when it dove to the downside here. We had a little bit of slippage there.
You got stopped out, Mr. Hope?
Oh yeah, see what happened?
How? My stop is at 83.7. Oh, you went to... My stop is at 41.83.75.
Oh, the micros went down to 41.81.50.
Oh, okay. I'm in the ESM 2023.
Right, it never went down there.
Never went down there. Holy shnikes. We're
So the
gone.
knee jerk in the micros got us.
Wow.
So now we just closed the gap. We're inside the range from yesterday. We got jerked out in the micros. Minis didn't do it.
Yeah.
The opening range still the low of the day. Yep.
Yeah, opening range to the low of the day.
Here it is.
What do you think? A test of 4,200?
I like that.
Easily.
I like when things are so visual. That's very pretty.
Yeah.
Nice compliment on that.
Yeah, this is just a different platform, but it points out the opening range.
I love your toolboxes, man. We all need our toolboxes.
Mm-hmm. So I barreled into another long up here because we're inside of the range from yesterday, and I think our risk is going to be. Yeah, I don't want to leave yesterday's range. And we'll see what happens.
Market likes the news. Okay.
Yeah, that knee jerk in the micros killed us.
Wow, that's a big range.
I might be crazy, and I'm over trading. Back in trade is in play. Yep. See, we should have been trading the minis.
Oh, it's minis and micros. It's two different ones, right?
Yep. Yeah, and they are different markets. So now the blood's coming back in. We got, mostly 3 digits in the S&Ps. Micros were back to 3 digits on the bid and offer. And we'll see what happens. And we got numbers at 9 too. New home sales Richmond Manufacturing Index. Expecting contraction.
But the market like the numbers. I wish I could have showed you that daily channel. It's about, we're showing resistance at it right now around 41.93.25. I feel real confident closing over that level to continue the upside.
Let's get Joe in here. Let's see what Joe says.
Good morning, Hoag.
Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Can I share?
Yep.
Can I share?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
It's open for you.
Broke over. Okay.
Yeah, you might be interested in this. We don't have to dwell on this order flow chart.
Liquidity.
See where, see where they pull them. See, this is all the liquidity over here. I can even make it even dramatic. See, this is all the liquidity here. See where it lightens up?
Yeah.
It darkens up, I should say.
Yep.
Let me just make it a little easier. See how it's black in here?
Yep.
That's before the news. See
Yeah.
how they pull the liquidity? They do that before every news event. So that's why you have such tremendous volatility in the news. And on the micros, it's even less liquidity, and that's why you had so much slippage.
Yep.
The news, the low in the news was like 88.50. And you got stopped out at 85.50, was it? 83.50.
I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took out the opening range low in the micros, but not in the minis.
Not in the E-minis. These are the E-minis, and the lowest trade was 88.50 on the news. And then you can see how it's the liquidity stats coming into the book now.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, and then so forth. All right, so now, and where the liquidity is in our here. Up here at 4,200. You'll see that big red line.
Yep.
That's been in there a while, so that could be your target on our lawn.
On a lawn. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyway, you can pull me
Thanks,
pull
Joe.
me off if you want. Look at this big Delta trade. Right
Yeah,
there.
look at
That's
that.
1,100 contracts. It took out that level of liquidity there that's pretty dark.
Uh-huh.
So you get some good buyers in here, so you're on the right side. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
That green bubble means that orders are coming into the market now.
Yeah, that's a buy delta.
Yeah.
Green.
Market orders buying.
You got
That's
all these
all the
buy
money.
deltas here.
Wow, that's pretty cool because as soon as you said that big double points, it went up 2-3 points.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. That's
See, it
amazing.
broke through here. See this resistance over here, and it, tested it a couple times. This is on a micro level, guys. You know that.
Tick by
The
tick.
interval between this dotted line and this dotted line is 30 seconds. So you see how micro we are.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can
Expand it.
expand it, yeah. So anyway, 42 is target in first target. So anyway,
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Mr. Hogue, I'm gonna be a little contrarian. I closed out
Okay.
because we're making lower lows and higher highs. I mean, lower lows and lower highs.
Overall, yeah. And the 30-minute,
right.
probably all the shorter time frames are looking
Right.
that way.
Remember that value area?
Mhm.
The 9 and the 20? Price is wicked right in this area right now.
So I moved our target down to 41.99. 4 ticks short of that 4,200 liquidity level, Joe.
Right. Not liking it. Not everything is coming to the downside. Yup.
Ben's coming in. We got a whole crew of people in here. So Jimmy, the question about the office being built in Aspen, what are the details about that? Yes, you can use it.
Good morning.
Yes, if you get a place in Aspen for a month, you can use it. You can use it on vacation. You can use it whenever you want, as long as there's space.
Imagine it not being space, right? What are you doing here trading? What are you doing here?
So Ben, what's on your mind?
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of need to show you before it changes.
All right, let's see.
Let's see here. Pull this in. Show screen. Okay. All right. So tell me when you got it.
Got it.
We're looking at a 10-minute TPO chart.
Yep.
Even though we got this pullback, I want to point out something. Once we went to the downside, we took out this tonight's overnight low, and then the one from, you can't see it on this chart. It's back here.
Got it.
So I was taking out the overnight, and then we took out today's overnight. Something significant was that it didn't come down like 8 to 12 ticks. It only popped it by 3 ticks and then came back in. Well, maybe it's not 3. This is in twos. I'm sorry, halves. So I'm not sure. But this is a 10-minute chart. I've mentioned this before. This may be indicative of further upside because we've got one-time framing because it's 3 TPOs. So we need 3 to really be one-time framing. We have a double distribution here. It in the last flush, it closed it by a couple of ticks, but it didn't fully close.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now this is beyond Dalton, okay, because he doesn't look at anything less than 30 minutes.
Right.
But all these things happen as Joe was talking on the micro level. That's where it starts. Everybody, no matter what your time frame or what your size is, you're a day trader. Even if you're staying in for years, you're a day trader in the moment.
Right. For sure.
So this could be indicative of further upside. And of course, we got this news in 5 minutes that may change it all. And this may be, there may be varying levels of Artemis direction. Initially, it was everybody gets short, and it looks like we should go short.
Right. Right.
And but then now it's flipped over, but it could be, getting whipsawed in a different way. Like, now it looks like we're going up, but the next news may throw it, like real flush, right?
Right.
But the point is, if you're long, it's worth staying long, I think, because this could mean that we're headed to this very prominent overnight volume point control. Okay, just a moment.
And that is where.
Let me look on this on a different. This was my regular one here. Whoops, hold on, let me pull this out. Okay, and then there's one more thing I want to share. So we took out this high in the overnight right here. And these are, again, Greg, I'm so glad you're in this book. These are very significant things that happened. It took it out by one tick and then came back in. So this is actually a TPO trade if you want to know one and don't know any, a one tick failure. Okay, so it didn't break out. Like that's a breakout. When you take out, that's sort of a breakout. It's a failed breakout now when it comes back this way. And anyway, so you can see the overnight VPOC, volume point control,
42.
and the TPOC, they're right on top of each other.
Right.
We can get through this low distribution area. This helps it even more. We're probably going to go to the value area low at least, or settlement right in here. So that's what I want to share about that. Just some insight on the 10-minute TPO.
Awesome.
The next thing is this is a tick chart. Oh wait, hang on. I want to show you something else real quick. This is a 15-minute chart here, okay? So I don't know if this is the same channel Greg was talking about, but we basically have had a channel, So I'm looking at possibly, it's nice how it fits in nice and evenly with that 4,200 area. Like if you're here, it's 4,200. If we, go into the next 10 minutes, maybe lower, you could get a little overthrow. But anyway, again, this is just another way of looking at targets or maybe what's happening because we looked below this channel and then came back in and then that was on the way up, But then the other thing I want to share is that something that I'm just going to find a great example here. Go back to, okay, like this was yesterday, all right? This isn't the best example, but notice how it really flushed about in the H period here, and then it went down, but then it came right back up. We have this V pattern here. But one thing I want to point out is a lot of times on these, you can look on a 1 minute probably and see it, or a tick chart. You'll see these very even back and forth that just go up in a channel or go down in a channel for a long period. And this is my conclusion. I may be wrong. That's when you're probably getting an automated algo machine that's just got a buy program or a sell program, because they will literally just grind it, for a while, and it stays within a certain range. And even on like a chart like Joe looks at a bookmap,
yes,
you'll see trend lines in the price action. Not necessarily we're not talking trend line like on a daily 30-minute or even 5-minute. It's just it's a very fast, just deal, and you can see these little trend lines. So this one's not time based; it's tick based.
Is Donchian?
Yeah, I have a Donchian channel in there. I do. Yeah.
That's the white lines. Okay.
White and green, yeah. But it's not the best example, but sometimes it is so perfect, that you're like, that's got to be a program. That's not the people, All right, that's all I wanted to share.
Thank you very much, Ben.
You're welcome. How do I? Oh, stop share. Okay.
I got you.
Any news coming out?
Yeah, we've got new home sales and Richmond Fed coming out.
Mr. Hoag, do you usually hold through news like this?
No, not usually. Well, this is, I would kind of consider kind of secondary news.
Okay.
I would never hold FOMC, anything like that.
Yeah, I know.
But nevertheless, the liquidity
is gone.
Being treated the same way. It's
right.
Gone, which makes extreme volatility. You never know where it's going.
Let me show. Can I show some real quick?
They've got the number coming out right now. Let's see what this is.
True, 10 o'clock. Yeah,
Richmond Fed lower than expected, -15. They were looking for -8. New home sales higher than expected.
What a reaction!
Took out the
It took out the high that was made at 9:51.
Yeah.
Open drive so far, so hope we can hold that. That's also a very bullish sign, but it may not be as significant because it happened on the news.
I mean, it's amazing to look at this book map and see the slippage on the news. It's just.
Now it should start filling back in with blood here pretty soon, huh?
Yeah.
We are holding positive 5,000 delta, so we're congruent with the delta. No divergence here just yet.
Yeah.
We
Can
had
I
our,
share?
we had our first target here at 41.99. It stopped a tick from it, but I just expanded our potential reward on this. Joe, let's see.
Okay, here's the news. See how the liquidity disappears?
Yep.
The news comes
Gone.
here. And now the liquidity's starting to come in, but it takes a while. Here it is. It's starting to fill in here, down below.
Uh-huh.
But you can see if you have an order in how you can get such slippage. 2-3 point slippages sometimes, even more on these announcements because there's just no liquidity in the books.
We're getting a good pushback here. We're still at 5,500 positive delta. Taking a while for this liquidity to come back in, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it feels kind of slow. I feel like the drive should be stronger than it is. Just feels a little stallish. I don't know. I'm holding this long, but I wish that there was more of a drive.
Man, it has a lot of volume. It's just Mr. Hart, I got a quick question. I never asked somebody this, and I think you're the perfect one to ask. Have you ever jumped the balance, like try to get ahead of the initial balance?
What do you mean?
Like you see the first hour of trade,
Right.
and you can kind of see where price is going, and you can say to yourself, this may be the higher initial balance, or this may be the lower initial balance. So let me get ahead of it.
Well,
Or that's not a good way of thinking.
well,
Do that all the time. You're always looking for that low extension or a high extension in the initial balance. Right?
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to, Joe, I'm going to take the screen back here.
Go for it.
So, I'm not quite sure I'm understanding the question, but here's yesterday, right? Here's the initial balance was established in the first hour. It was relatively large. It was created by a news event that created some volatility, right? So the one trade I took personally yesterday was up against the high of the initial balance here.
A period.
So I shorted it here after 130 and took 8 points out of it. That was fine. I was happy with that for the day yesterday.
Okay.
So, looking at the extremes of the initial balance, the market has told us earlier in the day that was viewed as too expensive up here and too cheap down here. So looking at the opportunity up here, if we start to extend the range, I would look at that as a potential failure of the opportunity for the short, at least initially, and I would take my loss. But I could limit my loss greatly because of the proximity of the high of the initial balance or the high of the regular trading hour session range by trading against it. So what did I risk? 3 points and I made 8.
That's 2 for 1 easily.
Right? So, and that was just basically, back to point of control. There was more to it, but I was happy just getting that a little bit better than 2 to 1 on a day like yesterday. I was fine with that.
Back to the tennis player. Yes.
Yep.
Greg, you got your TPO charts now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so I haven't done this in a while, and the market has been different for a while. But if you go back, just go back, put up a daily profile thing and split them out. Well, you don't have to split them out. You go back and you'll see how many times the initial balance, whether it's A, B period, and sometimes C period, which is not the initial balance, but it's in the first 3 periods that you'll find the high or low of the day.
Right.
A lot of times it's A or B, that'll be the high or low of the day.
No, I agree. I agree.
So here we can kind of go ahead and, well, you know what? Let's look at this on, yeah, let's use this. So yesterday we know the IB was the high and the low,
Right.
right?
The inside day.
The IB was the high the day before. The day before that, the IB was the low.
Which was the base, hold on, Mr. Hope, which was the base of the double distribution day, correct?
This was the double, well, this was a double distribution day here.
The day before. And then, no, the day before that one.
This was
No, go back one more day, Mr. Hope. The 552 TPO.
here.
Right. This is double distribution day too, right?
Yes.
And the top distribution, the base of the base of the upper distribution is what I'm saying.
They here.
Right.
So
okay.
this becomes excess below price. When you have a double distribution, you could view this as a buying tail below price.
Correct. This is very important information right here.
Right. And, you know, this was the day we opened with acceptance above the late spike. And then they broke negotiations. So that changed the day. If we weren't in the debt ceiling situation, I think this day would have completely come out a different way.
And thank you, Mr. Hope. You're the reason why I'm on TPOs, man. Make you really doing your job. I appreciate that.
But I mean, you know, you look back, like Ben says, you're going to find that anywhere between 65 and 80% of days has the initial balance as one extreme of the day. Here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. Nope, looked a little bit below that one, but you can kind of go back and see opening the initial balance has a high probability on one side or the other to remain the high or the low of the regular trading hour session. Make sense?
Yes.
And I kind of point that out from time to time on the market prep. And whenever I do, the market loves to make a liar out of me. It doesn't work for a while. But opening range trade is kind of like that as well, because the short time frame traders know about it. And if they see it happening with, you know, good probability, they all jump into it and they wreck it. And then they'll abandon it when it doesn't work anymore, and then it'll start working again. The more people that get into a specific setup, the less likely it is to succeed.
It's too obvious.
Yes.
How many people we have in here today?
There's
some party today.
There's
need some cocktails.
29 in Zoom and 88 on YouTube.
That seems like more than usual. Is YouTube growing?
Yes.
Zoom is less, it seems.
Yep.
Nobody wants to talk here. That's all.
Yeah. And that's okay. You know, we're just
Love my hoagie, man.
We're just chatting, you know.
Hey, Hoag, this is Joe.
Hey, Joe.
When you get a chance, I'd love to know what's the big deal about the radio versus, any other medium. I don't understand, radio or, on the internet. Why is that a big deal?
Radio?
What are you going to add that you can't get on YouTube and Zoom?
Radio? I don't know what radio.
Well, you actually be setting up a radio. You call it a radio. Don't you?
Well, we're setting up Top Step TV, which will just be on YouTube.
Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah. What's the difference between that and what we're using?
Well,
why is that such a
we're
big
just
deal?
gonna be expanding the market prep into watching the open. Michael is gonna come on and trade his live account on it. Sometimes we're gonna do Make HOAG Money. We're gonna have some professional traders and other educators coming on. So we're just kind of expanding the programming of the prep to maybe 3 hours in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Don't leave it.
you know, this is a lonely business. There's lots of people that do this. There's lots of other people to kind of hang with, but we're hoping you're going to want to hang with us.
Yeah.
I have a quick question for you, Hug.
Sure, Jimmy.
So if we're at the edge of the range and I'm in at a buy right now, would this be considered initiative buying or responsive? Because that was one area of the book that I'm very confused about the difference between the two.
Great question. So, because we are opening overlapping lower the range from yesterday, I would call this responsive buying.
Feel like I'm waiting.
Now, the fact that we are in the S&Ps above the opening range, I would call this shorter time frame initiative buying.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
And you can see the delta is like 9,500 positive. This is probably, like we said, shorter time frame initiative buying because the market opened and left the open at the low of the session in the S&Ps. But in a longer time frame, because we are in a day time frame, because we're below settlement, we're below point of control, we're below value, this would be viewed as responsive buying.
And I guess I didn't realize that it was dependent on the
Time frame.
but it makes a lot of sense what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It helps to understand it, like it has everything to do with the market auction process or auction market process, however you want to say it, but remembering that markets are fractal. So you're going to have initiative buying or responsive buying throughout almost any day.
Right.
But like he's talking about right now, we opened outside of yesterday's range, and that's where selling dried up and buying stepped in. And, became too cheap to sell, but cheap enough people wanted to buy. So they responded to that price.
Correct.
Yeah. So like if you look at the extreme of any bell curve, they're going to be responding when it's a bargain, whether it's bargain to sell or bargain to buy. Initiative would be like innovators stepping in and like a breakout of some kind,
Mm-hmm.
If that helps, I hope.
Yeah. Well, just looking at
Absolutely. Thank you, Gil.
looking at yesterday, when at 1:30 to 2 o'clock, this was initiative buying that met responsive selling. Responsive selling came in because it was at a level that was previously rejected by price. So the responsive sellers were the ones that were able to profit from here. The laggards bought it. The innovators sold it.
I want to point out that even though it seems like pushing down, halfback held, and so did the prior low day so far.
Mm-hmm.
But it might get dicey if halfback doesn't hold and it comes out of range.
Halfback, Greg.
Yes, sir. Favorite number.
I think I played halfback in junior high.
Yeah, man, I'm really not liking up here.
I didn't play football, but I did play half barrel in high school.
We have a head and shoulders on the 1 minute. I know it's intraday. Yes, I know, but that's what we could go by right now.
Yeah, and
starting this the shoulder starts at 9:51. The head is at 10 o'clock, and the right shoulder is at 10:10, and the neckline is about 41.92.
inverse here.
What time?
No. This is the 1 minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
So 1 minute.
head and shoulder on a 10-minute here. That'd be great.
Yeah, but this is where difference in bias is. Like I'm bearish on today. This was the pop. But we gotta see though. Let's wait for the initial balance to set itself.
Yeah,
I don't like that we don't have much range extension yet.
And we have really kind of powerful positive delta that isn't able to move price.
Okay. Getting dicey.
So like I have an indicator that lets me know the average, the statistics for the initial balances. So let me bring this up. Let me bring this up accurately. Put this here, put the time in, and we could look at it. We could get an idea on what it is right now.
Let's see.
Okay. So
You got it up?
oh yeah, I have it up. Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
I could put it up now. Okay, so let me just clear this up real quick. Boom. All right, let me put this on. Share content, screen, start broadcast. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so it's a simple chart. Come here. This is the initial balance. This would be from it's not 10:30 yet, so hold on, let me set the times. Okay, what time is this? So this was from yesterday, right? This was from yesterday, right? We had yesterday was 30.75, right? The average is 22.21 the last 20 days. The minimum was 9.5, and that was Friday. See, Friday right here, 9:30. That was the low. That was the lowest.
What are we looking at
initial
here?
balance
Oh, okay.
from the last 20 days, right? So that would have been an inclination of it getting knocked over, right? I think Jimmy had mentioned that. So that would have been a clue.
Yeah, on narrow initial balance is easy to tip over, right?
Right. So we could easily look at Friday. This was Friday. Are we interested in Friday, or we go back to right now?
Sure.
Yeah, this was Friday right here. This is initial balance on Friday. So 9:30 to 10:30, and then we get our levels. The IB low was 42.16. The IB high was 42.25, and I think that's when Biden was speaking, and the whole market tumbled over. Right. So now for today, in about 13 minutes,
the initial
we're
balance.
See what the new balance is. This is what we're going off of right now from yesterday, but we're still in balance from yesterday, Mr. Ho. We're still in balance from yesterday. 41.91 as the base from yesterday.
IB from yesterday.
Correct. So we're still in balance from yesterday.
I think a short-term short squeeze is underway because they had that flush and went through the open. That was almost going to flatten it, but then it turned around at the overnight low, and you could see the price action like it is almost like shaking out weaker hands type of thing. And now everybody that piling on board is getting squeezed. So look, what the delta was negative. Is that what you were saying it was?
It's positive.
It's positive.
We lost a whole bunch of it on the way down, but it's still positive 6,800.
Okay.
So here we are. So we had stopped out on our long, but I just bought it again back inside the opening range because it's cheap. Only reason. Cheap. We have Joy in YouTube screaming, open eyes, just buy. David, I'm glad you're liking the show.
What does the open eyes mean?
I think he's just saying that he sees something and he's suggesting that we buy it, which we just did. We got our third long on the day here back inside the opening range because it's cheap.
That's 8 contracts, Joy. Bye.
Bye.
I think I'll stick with my one lot right now.
Oh, can I come on?
Of course. Here you go.
Share. Okay. Here's the NYSE tick chart. This candle at 10:16.
Okay, that's the
is
one.
An extreme. That's that stop run that Ben was just talking about. All my internals have been positive all day today.
Okay.
The relative strength between the offensive stocks versus the defensive stocks, like Staples, have been on the plus side, and the amount of money flowing into positive stocks versus negative stocks has been on the green side of the positive side. So my bias, that's my bias. My bias has been long all morning.
Okay.
And what I wait for, even though I didn't take this trade, what I wait for is the tick extreme which is what we just got, 1016.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you on the book map. That's this one here. See it?
Uh-huh.
That I wait, since my context is long, I wait for that, what I call a stop run, or a gamma run, either way, whatever you want to call it. It's a tick extreme, shows up on my NYSE tick extreme. That's what I look for on an entry. And then I drill down to the micro level, which is I am right now. And this is the bottom of it, and that's my stop. At 87 would be my stop. And what I'm looking for is a pullback to some level that to get in, and I might get in at 89, and my stop would be 87. So that would be a 2 point, I'd add 2 ticks to that. So my stop would be, I'm wrong underneath this tick extreme.
Right.
And I'm in somewhere in here within 3 points. I don't go beyond 3 points on a stop.
Okay.
And I use 2 contracts. So say I get in here at 88, at 88 at 90 and a half, which would be somewhere around here. I'd be risk neutral. So I'd sell 1 contract that gets me risk neutral. I keep my stop originally where it was. Now I have one contract that I can manage. So even though I didn't get in this trade, that's what I'm looking for.
That's what you'd be looking to do. Understood.
Yeah, the key is to establish a bias for me anyway. That's why I do it. Establish my bias, and then I say, okay, now I'm going to look for a tick extreme on the NYSE.
And we got that on that last little stop run to the downside.
It down here, right?
Right. Okay.
My stop would be under this. This is where I'm wrong. Is under here.
Good. Understood. All right. Well.
So once you get once you get risk free, risk neutral, I should say. Now I'm more comfortable in trading the way you do, Hoag, in terms of looking at those big moves.
Bigger opportunities.
Yeah. So I can sit there and I can say, hey, look, if I get stopped out, fine. I didn't lose any money.
Right.
But I'm gonna go for like that 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour type trade that you're looking for. The kind of trade that gets you to the other side of the profile.
Right.
The daily profile.
Good.
So anyway.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe.
You can pull it if you want.
Thank you, Joe. All right. So, well, we're getting pretty close to where I have to move on. What do I do with this? We're currently long at 41.88. We've got our stop below where Joe was saying he's going to be wrong on his trade. What are we looking for as far as some kind of a profit target?
POC, like you said.
Point of control from yesterday. So I've already got an offer in there at 42.08. So we'll let this fly. We'll either get stopped out.
What's the stop loss, Mr. Hoag?
About 4 points.
83.
I mean, you could move it below that tick extreme.
That tick extreme was
86.50.
Oh, you know what? Let's look at on the S&Ps. 86. So 80. Well, I'm just going to go below the low of the regular trading hours in the S&Ps. If we take out the low of the opening range, I'll be out. So that's why I've got it at 41.84. So we'll let this play out. We'll talk about it maybe if I do a reflection at the end of the day. Otherwise, we'll talk about it on the prep tomorrow morning. But we'll see how this plays out.
Thank you, Hoag.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you all.
What's the next thing on the schedule today?
It's Coach's Playbook, but it's a retro one. It's one we did back in 2017. We got a bunch of guys that are busy today, so we're not going to be able to do it live. So we're going retro. It's a question and answer session from 2017, 11:30.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You'll see me with.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you, and if you're all right with it, I plan to be a regular here. So
Awesome.
Appreciate you very much.
Well,
Nice to have you, Jimmy. Nice to have
Yeah,
you, man.
Absolutely, brother.
Happy trading, everyone.
happy trading, everyone, and thank you all
Happy trading, Joe.
for being here and your participation and the comments and the ideas and everything. Stash, there are some tutorials on our YouTube channel that you're on right now. Look for playlists and then look for auction theory and market profile. There's a two hour long session there where you talk about the basics of the TPO charts and all of that. But thanks again, guys. Thank you, Ben, Greg, Jimmy, Joe, and everybody. Have a great session. We'll see you later.
See ya. Thank
Mr.
you.
Hope, those two. Oh,
What? What?
oh, those two titles you just gave. That's in the podcast.
It's going to be, yeah.
Oh, the auction theory and the
Those are recorded and they're available on our YouTube channel.
YouTube. Okay. Thank you. I was writing notes down. Thank you, Mr. Hope. Sorry to hold you.
Not a problem. We'll talk to you later, guys. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
Take care.